So yeah, I was gathering some numbers on what happened since the last meetup. And yeah, in Calcite, we had like 350 commits, more or less. We had 87 people contributing to the release, to the project in general. And it is quite interesting that in the past year, we had 56 new contributors. So people who committed to the project for the first time, which I find quite impressive. Then obviously it's worth mentioning our top contributors, people who committed the most. First, of course, is Julian Hyde with 56 commits. I guess it will be the same for the coming years. And also, it's very nice to see some new people who joined that are also among the top committers, which is Ben Chao Li and Ziazun Xie. I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Which is great to see new people joining the project and doing very, very well. In the past year, we had 5 Calcite releases. So roughly one every 3-4 months, which is great. I think if we keep it like that, it's the ideal release rate. And also it's worth checking a few things about Avatica. So we still had quite a few commits, around 50. We had 18 contributors overall, and 12 people were committed to the project for the first time. And no surprises here as well. The top contributor was Francis, who does everything from the project, does releases, reviews, and still commits a large number of things into Avatica repo. And we have an equal amount of releases for Avatica. So we had 5 releases so far, 3 for the core Avatica and 2 for the Go version. And in terms of community, in the past year, we had 4 new PMC members: Chunwei Lei, Vladimir Ozerov, Andrei Saeda, and Ben Chao Li, and 7 new committers: Ben Chao Li, Xing Zhang, Bertil Sapui, Dimitri Sizolayatin, Istvan Toth, Alex Penau, and Ziazun Xie. So yeah, the project is having new people, and many of the people, not many, but quite a few people in this list have committed to the project for the first time in the last year. So I believe we are doing great. Now we are going to see some, I picked a few highlights of the things that happened in the past releases, just to remind us what major things or very interesting things we did in the past year. The order is not specific, but I think it is from the older to the newest, if I'm not wrong. So we had fluent text, the introduction of fluent text features that allowed many people to write tests in downstream projects in a convenient way. We had the introduction of polymorphic table functions in the SQL layer. This is not a super feature, but it is quite complicated. It is actually interesting that it's pretty old. It is Calcite 35, but it was quite complicated to fix, and that's why worth mentioning, because along the way many people bumped into this problem and brought it up to the dev list. And of course, we shouldn't forget security vulnerabilities. We had a few this year. I think we had three vulnerabilities, and they were all resolved in a very timely manner, thanks to the PMC committers who worked all together, and of course, thanks to the reporters who did a great job in following the process. A very big thing for the project in the last year is the work on geospatial functions. We have over 65 new functions, which is mainly due to Bertil, I think. Then we have many improvements in the BigQuery dialect. lots of things related to date, time, and timestamp functions. And lots of new and important features like the introduction of measure type and the aggregate, the new qualify clause and the custom timeframes, which are all related. And I guess we are going to see more about these things, I guess, I'm not sure, in today's presentation by Julian. We had a completely new dialect for Firebolt. And from the Avatica side, we have now the fetch size is configurable, which is quite an important improvement for those building the JDBC, using the JDBC server and client. And we also have a few configurations for SSL, which is also very, very important. Now let me briefly talk about the agenda. So we'll start with roughly 2 hours of presentations. The first one is by Julian Hyde, adding measures to Calcite SQL. The second one is by Mikai Boudiou, about incremental view maintenance. And the last one is by myself and Alessandro, which is about debugging issues using the built-in loggers. Then it will be the second part of the meetup will be an open discussion where we can exchange any ideas about things that we've seen in the presentations or anything that comes to mind and might be of interest to the community. So before giving the mic to Julian to start, I would like to see if there are any questions for anybody